Good day, everybody. Good day. This is Christopher again from the City of God Ministry. Today we'll be making a review of this Berean Study Bible. But before anything else, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And click on that bell notification so that you will be updated of any future videos that we will be uploading. Okay, so before moving on, we would like to acknowledge Mr. John Isset from the Bible Hub, the publisher of this Berean Study Bible, for sending this to us in exchange for an honest review. All right, so moving on, the Berean Study Bible is a hardbound. The edition that was given to me is a hardbound, cloth overboard, navy blue, with a gold stamping of the Holy Bible, Berean Study Bible. There are no raised hubs here, but there's only a gold stamping of the BSB. This is a simple edition, but at the same time quite attractive, especially for me that I don't like my Bible very fancy. And this is a plain back cover. Okay, this is not gold gilded, so it's just an ordinary paper. We have the headband yellow, tailband which is also yellow. We have a yellow ribbon marker in excess of 2.5 inches. The binding is smite sewn and glued there. You'll notice the signatures there. The dimensions of which is the length is 9 1/4 inches with a width of 7.2 inches, and the thickness the thickness is 1.6 inches. Now if we compare this with my CSB verse by verse, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to see that the verse by verse is actually longer in length, but it is thinner than the BSB, if you could see the difference in the thickness. And the width, the BSB is longer than the CSB. Now, to compare it with my NAB, this is, I think, yep, in length they're almost the same, and also with the thickness, but with the width, BSB is longer than the NAB. Okay, so moving on, the paper is 45 GSM. If I slightly tilt the Bible, there is no sheen on the paper. Sorry for that. There's no sheen on the paper. And this is a 2-column format Bible. This is a 2-column format Bible with the outer margin of 1.2. The inner margin is also 1.2. And let me show this to you. The upper margin is the same also of 1.2, and the bottom margin as well. Since this is a 2-column format, the in between is 0.5 centimeters. And in this Bible there is no there are no maps. Let's see how many pages do we have on this Bible. So at the end of this Bible, we have 1,000. Sorry about that. We have 1,994 pages, and The last page would be the table of weights and measures. And the front and back are the how do you call this? Cardstock paper. A plain cardstock paper, which is a bit shiny, and this is a paste down liner. And let me just open the Bible for you. The font size is 10.5 Cambria font. The font is very readable, very comforting. Okay, the ghosting doesn't really bother. You won't be able to notice that in the camera anyway. There's a minimal bleed through, but if we check the other side, this is not actually line matched. Okay, so moving on. We have the title page. We also have the copyright page. And this is printed in the USA. This is the table of contents. The preface. Okay, so let me read that for you. The Berean Study Bible is a completely new translation of the Holy Bible, effective for public reading, study, memorization, and evangelism, based on the best available manuscripts and sources. Each word is connected back to the Greek or Hebrew text to produce a transparent text that can be studied for its root meaning. The BSB represents a single tier of the Berean Bible. This printing contains the full BSB text, footnotes, section headings, and cross-references. Okay, so the Berean Bible Translation Committee has employed an open process where translation tables are freely available and all comments are welcomed and considered. Okay, so we also have the publication and sharing. And this is the tiered translation structure, sources and abbreviations. Okay, so moving on. There are no introductions for every book, but you can see there are subheadings, and it is written in bold. And in every, you'll be able to notice that that in some, like, there are how do you call this? There are references at the bottom of some of the subheadings. The chapter numbers are written in big size and in bold, and the verse numbers are also in bold. Let me show you the footnotes. I think if this is in 7-point font, the footnotes. And let me show you the layout. We have, for every pages, we have the page numbers and the content of each page. So this page ends with Deuteronomy 27 verse 6, while on the other side starts with Deuteronomy 25 verse 4. So every book starts with a fresh page. Let me show that to you. Every book starts with its own page. Like here in the book of Judges. Moving on, let me show you the poetic settings of the Bible. Like in Psalms, book 1. So the Psalms is subdivided in 4 books here in the Berean Study Bible. Like this one. Book 1 is from Psalms 1 to 47. Book 2 let me get that for you. Book 2 is from Psalms 42 to 72. Book 3 would be from, just a second, almost there. Right, so book 3 is from Psalms 73 and 89. Actually, this is the only Bible that I noticed that the Psalms is subdivided into different parts. Book 4 is from chapter 90 to chapter 106. And book 5 is from Psalms 107 to Psalms 150. You'll be able to notice, you won't notice the ghosting here in the camera. And if we check on the New Testament, you will be able to see that the words of Jesus are not in red. This is actually good for those who want to focus on the word with no distraction. So the words of Jesus are in black. Now you'll be able to notice that there are references to other books, and if there are any references on the Old Testament, the text is usually separated from the text, like a voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning. Okay, now, so we'll be making a comparison of Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 to 27. This is the Berean. We will be comparing that with my Greek Bible, with my Septuagint, and with my Hebrew Tanakh. Okay. This is my patriarchal Greek Bible, and I'll be showing you my Tanakh later on. So let's start with this. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. Okay, so this is my Septuagint. If you will see verse 24, that would read, "The Lord bless thee and keep thee." Verse 25 of the BSB, "May the Lord cause you his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you." Now this is my copy of the Hebrew Tanakh. This is verse 25. Verse 25 says, this is my render of the verse 25. "The Lord deal kindly and graciously to you." This sounds very close to that, to the BSB render. Verse 26 of the BSB, "May the Lord lift up his countenance toward you and give you peace." Now, this is verse 26 of my Septuagint. I would read this as "The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give you peace." That's how I would render this as well. Now, the way I see it here in Numbers 6 verses 24 to 26, it's like they're having a mix of both the Hebrew and the Greek text. Now, that's a good method for me. That will be the same way I would be able to translate the Hebrew and Greek into this one cohesive piece, like the Aaron's blessing. Now, moving on, this is the interesting part. All right, so this is my review copy of the BSB. We will be comparing Psalms 63 with the Hebrew and the Greek. This will be titling "Thirsting for God." Okay, so I want you to take a look at this one, and we will be comparing it first with the Hebrew. Okay, Psalm 63, "O God, you are my God, earnestly I seek you, my soul thirsts for you, my body yearns for you, in a dry, weary land without water." This is verse 1. Now this is my Hebrew Tanakh. You'll be able to notice a very big difference. Chapter 63, and it will start with verse 2. And verse 2 is, "God, you are my God. I search for you. My soul thirsts for you." Now, instead of verse 1, this starts with verse 2. There you will see the big difference then. The numbering of the verses with the Hebrew. Now, so compared to my Septuagint, this also starts with verse 1. Okay, saying, "O God, my God, I cry to thee early, my soul thirsts for thee. How often has my flesh longed for thee in a barren and trackless and dry land." Continuing on, verse 2, "So I have seen you in the sanctuary, and behold your power and your glory." Verse 2 here would also say, "Thus have I appeared before thee in the sanctuary, that I might see thy power and thy glory." Verse 3, Because your loving devotion is better than life, my lips will glorify you. So I will bless you as long as I live. In your name I will lift my hands. My soul is satisfied as with the riches of foods. With joyful lips my mouth will praise you. When I remember you on my bed, I think of you through the watches of the night, for you are my help. I will sing for joy in the shadow of your wings. Here, let me follow that through. Verse 3, I would render this as, for thy mercy is better than life, my lips shall praise thee. Verse 4, thus will I bless thee during my life. I will lift up my hands in thy name. Verse 5, let my soul be filled as with marrow and fatness, and my joyful lips shall praise thy name. Verse 6, verse 6, for as much as I have remembered thee on my bed, in the early seasons I have meditated on thee. And verse 7, for thou hast been my helper, in the shelter of thy wings will I rejoice. Now, let us try to take a look at verse 2 of my Tanakh. God, you are my God. I search for you. My soul thirsts for you. My body yearns for you, as a parched and thirsty land that has no water. Verse 3, would read, I shall behold you in the sanctuary and see your might and glory. Verse 4, truly your faithfulness is better than life. My lips declare your praise. Verse 5, I bless you all my life. I lift up my hands invoking your name. Verse 6, this is verse 6, I am sated as with a rich feast. I sing praises with joyful lips when I call you in the mind upon my bed. When I think of you in the watches of the night. And that is verse 7. Now going back to my Berean Study Bible, if we will try to recall verse 1 here, may sound like verse 2 in the Tanakh, and quite different with verse 1 in the Septuagint. Alright, but verse 2 here in the Berean Study Bible is very close to the verse 2 of the Septuagint. Verse 3 in the BSB is off tangent to that of the Septuagint, but close to the Hebrew text of the Tanakh. While verse 4 in the BSB is very close to the render of my Greek Septuagint. Verse 5 of the BSB He's kind of off with the Greek, but very close with the Hebrew in the Tanakh of verse 6. And verse 6 of the BSB has a different render from my render of the Greek Septuagint of verse 6, but it is very close to the verse 7 of the Hebrew Tanakh. And lastly, the last comparison that I did was for verse 7 here of the BSB, which is very close to my verse 7 render of the Septuagint, and it's very exact with the verse 8 of my Hebrew Tanakh. Now let us try Matthew chapter 5. Now we'll be checking out verses 3 and 4. This is very long. I'll just choose certain verses to check out with our Greek New Testament. So verse 3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. So this is my Greek New Testament. Let me locate for you verse 3. Verse 3 reads, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of the heavens. Now, it's pretty much exact with verse 3. Let's try verse 4. Blessed the ones mourning, for they will be comforted. Now that's pretty much pretty exact with me if you will read it from also the BSB. Now in conclusion, this would be a very practical translation, integrating renders from Hebrew and Greek into one cohesive English render of the Bible. Now, I would really recommend this for those who are seriously studying the Bible and for those attending the seminary. Once again, I would appreciate everyone. I thank you for watching this Bible review, and hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.